Good morning, Space Watchers. It is day number 4 here at the IAC 2024 in Milan, and I'm here, as you can see behind me, at the booth of Australia, of the Australian Space Agency. And I have the great honor this morning to talk with Enrico Palermo, the head of the Australian Space Agency. Enrico, how are you doing?
I'm great. Good morning, Torsten.
That's great. So, how is IAC 2024 so far for you?
This has been a wonderful IAC. Our Italian hosts have put together such a comprehensive program, over 11,000 attendees. I think they've demonstrated once again the IAC and the IAF is the way to bring the world's space community together.
So, let's talk about Australia, or especially your agency. Your agency is growing rapidly over the last years. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic to see it, at least from abroad. I don't know how it is from the inside, but because there might be growth pains as well. What are the key achievements you think you made with the agency so far?
Yeah, if I even just reflect on the last 12 months, one of the key things is we signed the Technology Safeguards Agreement with the US, and that's going to be key in growing our spaceflight, both launches and returns economy in Australia. Shortly, you'll see us announce the team that's going to build Australia's lunar rover, and so that is a significant partnership we have with our friends at NASA as well. But some of the other key achievements is we've activated the Space Launch Act in Australia. We've got great partnerships with our partner countries in the region, Japan, India, but also further afield, of course, to Europe with the European Space Agency. So I'd say in our first 6 years, we've really strengthened that sense of international partnership.
Absolutely, and I'm following the growth of the agency or the sector in Australia from the beginning as best as we can from abroad, obviously. And no, we don't talk about budgets today. So I mean, let's celebrate what we have today.
Well, and let me say, so the agency was formed 6 years ago, and that was something the nation had sought out for a long time. And so when the Australian government made that decision to form the agency, it really catalysed momentum. We track now over 600 organisations in Australia working in space, whether they're in government, in academia, or in industry, where the most are. A lot of job growth and a lot of economic return. And so having the agency, having those international partnerships has certainly benefited Australia.
It's great that you talk about the commercial aspect also. How do you foster innovation and growth of the commercial sector in Australia? And I know that will fill in a complete program, but just in a nutshell, so give you a glance.
I mean, we're an agency that's very much focused on how do we build an ecosystem that serves the needs Australia has from space. We've been fortunate to do that through Australian government funding of some grant programs that have lifted space heritage, that have built infrastructure, common use infrastructure, and seen Australian technology, go into orbit. As I said, we have a Space Launch Act, so through a world-leading regulatory framework, we enable growth, for example. So it's really what we've been focused on is setting the conditions for growth and then letting these companies scale and get out of the way.
Fantastic. Let's talk about sustainability. Sustainability is the theme here of this year's IAC. So how is Australia contributing? And I know sustainability in Australia is a huge topic. So how do you transfer it into the space sector?
Yeah, I mean, there's a clear sense here this week amongst all the space leaders of the need to make space activities more sustainable, to protect these assets that we use for weather monitoring and all the things we benefit from. So actually proud the Australian government today has actually commenced a public consultation on development of a sustainability of space activities policy in Australia. And so this is really important so we can develop a domestic framework so we can contribute to the international frameworks. I mean, space sustainability is a global problem. It requires a global response, and we want to make sure Australia is doing its part.
Fantastic. So, looking forward, 1 year from now, we might meet in Australia, in Sydney. I don't know exactly the dates, but it's about a year from now. So IAC 2025 in Sydney. What can we expect? Is it another bigger, better, or so? What is it? What will be the theme if you can talk about it already?
A warm Australian welcome to you and all your listeners for next year's, and save the dates, 29th September to the 3rd of October.
You listen to that?
In Sydney. Sydney's a wonderful location. The harbour is world renowned, and so at a minimum, and very minimum, you have a great city to visit. Importantly, it's a chance to see how our sector has grown in the last 6 years. We're a sector and a country that wants to partner internationally, but broader than that, this is an IAC for the region. The IAC has only been held a handful of times in the Southern Hemisphere, and we expect a large contingent from all our friends and partners in the region to come to Sydney. And so as you're considering coming, it's a chance to partner with not just Australia, but the region. We're going to have a clear focus on the applications of space. So often at space conferences we like to integrate with space people, but let's bring the end users in so they understand the opportunities to deal with some of their challenges and create opportunities.
Being by myself a beachhead advisor space for the NZTE, your friends in New Zealand, I'm pleased to hear that will be an IAC for the entire region, and our friends, or your friends, our friends in New Zealand will be happy to hear it. And it's also, I think, back to back to the New Zealand event, and that's what we heard earlier this week. Enrico, thank you very much. Enjoy the last 2 days here at the IAC in Milan. And with that, thank you for your interest, and SpaceWatch out. Bye.